Let's talk today about what to do when you're strapped for cash and you still want to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, dealing with money idioms for the month of November. And today's money idiom, money-related idiom, is strapped for cash. This is one of those idioms that's been around since the mid-1800s. And it, of course, means to not have enough money, not have enough funds to want to do what you want to do when you want to do it, or just be short of cash. You might say... and it doesn't just apply to cash anymore. It used to be just with respect to money, but now it applies to other things. So say you are out camping and you have firewood and somebody asks you if they can have some firewood and you say, no, I'm strapped for firewood. I can't give you any more. Meaning I only have enough to supply my needs and I don't have extra to share with other people. That meaning came around in the first half of the 19th century to apply to other things besides just money. So maybe supplies, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer in the not so distant past, firewood, money, other resources, anything you can imagine that you're short of in supply, or you might not have enough even to meet your own needs. You would say you are strapped for this thing. You're short of this thing, kind of like a shortage, right? So have you ever been strapped for toilet paper? We were in the beginning of the pandemic. But we got enough, of course, and we got by just fine. Have you ever been personally or professionally in your business strapped for cash? I will say that if I look back over my past business growth, every single time we were in a growth phase, it also meant we were in other resources or cash shortage because we needed cash and other resources in order to expand and grow. And so oftentimes we find ourselves in cycles of being strapped for cash. So what do we do about it? What are some things we can do about it? Well, number one, we want to make sure that we're not irrationally doing things that will get us in more trouble. We're not going to borrow money from loan sharks. We're not going to take out super duper short-term high interest rate financing. We're not going to go to hard money lenders, probably, depending on the nature of your business and the nature of your current need and requirements. But we're going to make sure that we're doing what makes sense in both the long term and the short term. Now, you might argue, hey, if I don't stay in business short term, the long term is not going to matter. But a lot of times we make short term decisions that impact the long term in ways that are much more negative than we consider. So we want to make sure that we are thinking before we act. We want to take a look at and make savings or cost cuts where we can. We want to get rid of any unnecessary expenses or expenditures. We want to return any unnecessary purchases or supplies or things that we're not using. We want to sell anything that we can that we're not in need of right now. Maybe we want to take on extra work, offer different products and services. Maybe we want to find ways to get influxes of cash in order to meet our short-term strap for cash needs. We want to consider the special options of the situation. We definitely want to consider the situation and know what's going on before we make rash choices and rash decisions. We want to establish a hierarchy of needs. What are the most important things? Well, we probably need the electricity on if we're running a manufacturing business, so we better pay the electric bill. We better pay the water bill. We better pay the things that have to be paid in a hierarchy of needs in order to keep things going. If you we do this on both a personal and a professional level. If you're strapped for cash, most people pay their house payment or their rent first, food second, or food first and rent and house payment second, whatever. We have to know what our priorities are and what's most important to us. We can do odd jobs on a personal level, or we can take on additional business or customers or customer groups or offerings from our business standpoint. Just maybe we say, okay, we're going to do this special service for this group of people for this next 3 months or this next 6-month period of time to get us through a cash crunch or to get the resources that we need to put into another project. We're always making trade-offs in business. You might want to borrow from your peers or create joint ventures with your peers in order to create different ways of growing and supersizing your business. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of joint ventures, especially for resources and specialties that aren't in my wheelhouse. Instead of going out and learning a whole new thing and getting certified as a different modality, I will just bring in that expertise and add it to our company's repertoire versus going out and doing it all myself. Now, in the olden days, I used to do it all myself, but the older I get, the smarter I get, and I stop doing that, and I look for people that are already doing the things that I want to do. And a lot of times they'll come in an agreement that isn't cash out of pocket. So you can make equity agreements, you can make partnership agreements that everybody gets a percentage of the profits, not having to pay for those services and products up front. Sometimes we have to tap into our retirement accounts. I have been known to tap into my retirement accounts for different businesses, for different short-term needs, and I won't recommend it because it puts a huge dent in your retirement depending on what your situation is, but it's always an option. And then the most important thing of all of the being strapped for cash situation, which we find ourselves in, is put stopgaps in place so that we don't find ourselves in a strapped for cash situation again. Now, like I said, every time I hit a growth phase in one of my businesses, we find ourselves strapped for cash. We put things in place, we plan, we save, we create resources, but still, if we find a growth spurt that we didn't anticipate, we'll find ourselves in a resources or cash strapped situation. And it's just a matter of having processes and systems for dealing with it automatically, preventing the unnecessary ones, but then embracing the growth related supersizing our business type strapped for cash situations and actually making sure that we're using those as our stepping stones to growth. All right, love to know your current way of dealing with situations where you find yourself strapped for cash. Lots of people have had a lot of experience dealing with this over the last couple of years, given the COVID pandemic and the impact it's had on millions and millions of businesses worldwide. So we all have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience to share with one another. Please do that in the comments below. Any questions, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow for another money-related idiom for the month of November. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.